welcome everybody. My name is Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the August horoscopes. Well, it's a bit of an interesting month happening this month. We have two supermoons. The first one is a full moon in Aquarius on the first of the month. The second one, which is the blue supermoon, known as the blue moon because it's the second of two full moons in a month. So the blue supermoon is in Pisces on the 30th. So that's a bit unusual. So there's a few other things happening, but let's go and watch a video so you don't have to watch me all the time. If you are new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Thank you very much. On the 16th of the month, we have the new moon in Leo, bringing a lot of brand new beginnings to you. You could be feeling quite bright, quite generous, and a little bit more vital. Perhaps you stand out in some way. If you go into a room, people immediately notice you. Then on the 23rd of August, the sun enters Virgo, and on the same day, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo. And the ruler of Virgo is in fact Mercury. So if you are a Virgoan perchance or a Gemini, then you could be very strongly affected by Mercury retrograde, and it will be retrograde until September 14th. Now, having said this, there is a bit of a thing called a shadow period for a week either side of these dates when the energy of Mercury retrograde is coming on or going off. Mercury retrograde can influence conversations or communications so that they get miscommunicated or misunderstood in some way. So do be careful of that. And also, it's not a good time to sign contracts. If you have to sign a contract, okay, you have to sign it, but do know that it's quite possible or even likely that something in that contract may change after September 14th when Mercury turns direct. It's not a great time for travel either. Often different legs of your itinerary may run late, and then it affects the whole itinerary. So allow plenty of time between each leg if you've got multiple trips to do. On the 27th, Mars enters Libra. Mars isn't really at home here. Mars is very energetic. Some people say aggressive, but at the very least it can be quite forceful. It is the planet of war after all, and it's entered Libra, which has the rule of Venus, and Venus is very much about love, affection, peace and harmony. So maybe a little bit of Libra will rub off on Mars, and a little bit of Mars energy will run off onto Libra, and they may cancel each other out. So it mightn't be a bad time. There may be some net gains here. Then we have on the 28th of August, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. Now, when a planet does go retrograde, it doesn't matter if it's Uranus or Mercury or even Venus, which has been retrograde since last month. It means that the energy is very much internalized. It doesn't mean that there aren't real physical effects. There still can be, but you're carrying a lot of the energy within, and it can be a little bit more emotional. It's certainly more to process. And with Uranus retrograde in Taurus, there could be some physical effects because Taurus is an earth sign. Uranus is very volatile, very rebellious and independent, but it also brings a lot of innovation, and things can happen like a bolt out of the blue, and it can be lightning fast that something happens and the whole situation changes rapidly. So have a look at your star sign, click the link below, and it will show you will see where Uranus is in your chart, so you'll know what area of your life is affected. The other thing to note is that we do have the Perseids meteor shower, and it is in effect from I think the 27th of July through most of August. But the strongest time, the peak time for seeing the meteorite shower is between the 9th and the 13th, and you can see it from most of the planets here on Earth. Sorry, most of the countries here on Earth, not planets. Most of the countries here on Earth. And it's also important to note too, if you go out on the 1st, 2nd or 3rd, it may be more difficult to see, of course, because we have the supermoon in Aquarius. So the supermoon is when the moon comes within 390,000 kilometres of the Earth, and it is 15% brighter and up to 7% bigger. So with all that additional light, it may be harder to see the Perseids, so just bear that in mind. On the 27th, Saturn is coming closest to the Earth this year. It does this once or twice a year, so it's not an unusual thing. It will be a mere 830 million miles away in opposition, which basically means that in a straight line, if you could imagine, we'd have the Sun, the Earth, and then Saturn, okay? And so, like I said, it's not unusual, but it will particularly affect Capricorn and the other cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. So this closest approach by Saturn is likely to bring a little bit more structure, a little bit more restriction or limitation, but that can help you define a structure, help you get organised. Maybe you can do some scheduling of work and things like that, because Saturn really loves things to be organised and scheduled. Saturn doesn't want you just to be too spontaneous and just go off and do something off the top of your head. Saturn wants you to plan it out and have more of a strategy. So sometimes it's useful. It can bring stability and a sense of safety. People may like that, but it can also be difficult if you're a creative sort of person, or perhaps you're an astrologer or a psychic or an artist of some description, a musician. These people, we need to sort of go with the flow as well. So yeah, it depends what you're doing, but try and give your creative work some sort of structure, because Saturn would appreciate that. Okay, so that's it. I hope this is useful for you. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to click your moon sign or your ascendant. See the timestamps below. Have a wonderful month, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com, and I have the August horoscopes here, in particular Aries. Hello, awesome Aries. Well, a few things happening this month. We're having a blue full moon at the end of the month. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But firstly, what I'll do is pick 2 cards as theme cards for the month for you. If you are new, please subscribe me alive, and don't forget to hit that notification bell now. Now, let's go to the board and have a look what's happening. Here's your horoscope, but we'll do the cards first. So 2 theme cards, and I like to close my eyes first for awesome Aries. What do I see coming up in August? I see some gold coins here. It's like they've been lost and they've come to light. So this is some sort of valuable gift or something that comes back to you from the past that's really helpful. I feel like it's more spiritual or physical, but it is also possible that you might find money. Change, usually when it's coins, it means change. It means transformation. The card that comes up is the 9 of Pentacles. How very interesting, because it is about your money if it's Pentacles. Okay, so there's a lot of blue there that you can see, and it's that beautiful electric blue, and this reminds me very much of Michael the Archangel. So he's out looking for you. So there could be some sort of outward accomplishment, but also some sort of financial accomplishment that comes to you. It's nearly the end of the cycle, but not quite. And you may have been working on something and you get some sort of reward that comes to you as a result. But you'll notice she's got a hand out here. It's like she's asking for the money, and the money comes. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen. There's a lot of gold here and gold in the card. So it's quite likely that there is additional money coming to you in some way. That's the first card. Okay, and the second card of the month, or the second half of the month if you like. What do I see? see. I'm still stuck here. That means I haven't told you everything I'm supposed to tell you about this. There's something else here. I get it won't happen overnight, but it will happen. So maybe, yeah, financially there's been some difficulty, but there's always hope in the future that that could change. It's actually quite likely that you're going to start a new financial cycle quite soon. Anything else? They're showing me the sun and the moon around that. It's the two opposites in a sense, the male and the female coming together. Make of that what you will. Now I'll try and move on to the second card here, the second half of the month. Pyramids, triangles. This could mean travel, but it probably means your chakras are opening up because it's that kind of shape. And you could well have more energy coming up from within your body. You may feel something in your body shifting or moving up your back, for example, and sometimes it'll get to a certain point and then it'll just get sort of bottlenecked there, for example, in the neck, and then you have some pain because there's so much energy behind it, but it can't all come up in one go. Okay, movement can help, but don't overdo it, of course. The card that comes up is the Judgment card. Obviously, we all make judgments. However, often they're about other people, and even more often they're about judging ourselves, not feeling good enough, or we feel like we don't deserve whatever it is that we want. You'll see all the humans here, they're standing in boxes. This is like little jails, if you like, little traps that we've made for ourselves in our thinking. We've limited ourselves to these little boxes, and then we want to jump out of those boxes and evolve into something, look to spirit to help us get out of the box. But you see, there's no lid on the box. We can just step out of the box. It's not that hard to step out of the box. However, when you've been in the box all your life, you don't know anything different. So the first step is to stop judging yourself and other people, and to look towards whatever it is that spirit represents to you so that you can evolve in consciousness. You'll see the angel here, got the cherry red wings and dressed in blue for self-expression, and she has a little sort of trumpet, as angels often have trumpets, and it's almost like the Pied Piper calling the people out of the boxes. The angels are saying, come out of your restrictions. Let your restrictions go, the restrictions of your thinking, and you'll become more aware of your mission and your purpose in the world and in the universe. So you become sort of more connected with other people and the interrelationship between people and the environment, okay, and Mother Earth as well. It actually is a really fabulous card. Even if initially when you start to become aware of these things, you realise, oh my God, I've got so far to go. But you've got your whole life to do it on the other hand too. Okay, it's a major arcana card, so that suggests that it's fairly important for your life. All right, let's make this a bit bigger so that you can see. And bear these two cards in mind because you might find that they come up in your horoscope. Okay, so I'll just get my notes here. There's a fair bit happening. You'll see that we have two T-squares in a sense. They're almost one because there's just slightly different planets here, Uranus and Jupiter. They're not conjunct, they're too far apart, but Jupiter does travel more quickly than Uranus, so they will become conjunct, and this will be one T-square. Okay, so let's, for the sake of brevity, let's call it conjunct, even though at the first of the month it is not conjunct, but during the month it will become conjunct, or they will become conjunct. And we have the moon here, and then we also have the sun here. Now the moon travels very quickly, so this T-square is not going to last very long because this moon is going to be out of orb within a matter of hours, say one day. So this is probably only for the first day of the month, and then these two will become conjunct later and it'll just be a square to this. So this is basically about your friends and your groups and interactions with other people, or maybe your hopes and dreams even, and your subconscious content. Something unusual could happen with your money. Remember, we talked about money here. because Jupiter and Uranus together. And because it's retrograde, Uranus goes retrograde at the end of the month, this is likely to be some internal reorientation about your value systems and your finances. So you may come to some brilliant new idea about your money supply or your values, okay? And the sun is going to strengthen that and give you additional insight and awareness. The other thing to notice is we do have a finger of God here, otherwise known, I think it's called a talent triangle, just off the top of my head, between Pluto, Neptune, and Venus here in your 5th house. This is very deep, transformative sort of energy where maybe an old relationship could come back in some way, or some pattern around relationships or romance, okay? The 5th house here, but it's also about your leisure and pleasure and your entertainment and creativity as well. It's bound to be that there's a lot of energy coming out of your subconscious this month, okay? And Venus is retrograde, so that also does point to the fact that someone from your past could come back. At the very least, you could be having memories of past relationships or a particular relationship. And you'll notice here that Venus is the focal point. This is the energy. It's like Pluto, the transformation, and the spiritual connection with this person. It's all this energy pointed to Venus, which is about your relationships, your appreciation of beauty, harmony, and love. Okay, so that kicks the month off with quite a big kick, actually. The first thing to notice is that the full moon is in Aquarius on the 1st of August here, and again brings up a lot of intuition, a lot of emotions perhaps, and the need for privacy. Okay, so I've put it here as a full moon, but it's already here. So there's not 2 moons. I've just made that moon much bigger to let that it's a full moon. And so there could be a lot of subconscious stuff going on. Added to that, we have a second full moon in the month known as a blue moon, and that is at the end of the month on the 30th, and it's in Pisces, again about your subconscious, the house of the divine. It's a very experiential place, the 12th house. It's probably the most difficult house to actually try and to explain to people because it's different for different people, and the subconscious is such a big place in a sense, and it's like going down into your body, but then that can transport you to other dimensions as well, and then you can be out through the universe as well. The 15th sees Saturn semi-square to Chiron's in Aries here, and Saturn is in Pisces up here. So they're making a semi-square, which is a bit of a challenge, I guess, between what's going on, restrictions in your subconscious, and the wounds you have. And this is like the spiritual type wounds that you may carry, particularly in the way that you relate to the world or getting your message out into the world and being in the world, how you approach the world. And Chiron here is saying there's some woundedness. But on the positive side, it's often through being wounded that the most salient, the most important, the wisest messages come out through that wounding. So Saturn is restricting that on the 15th. So just be aware that you may feel a little bit extra sensitive around that time. And if people say things and it cuts, it hurts, they're probably not aware exactly of what they're doing, but even if they are, there is a spiritual purpose to all of this, okay? And it's about you healing yourself so that you can get your message out into the world the way that you want. On the 16th, the new moon is in Leo, which is a fabulous energy for new beginnings. And we already talked about the finger of God touching Venus here. The moon very quickly will catch up to Venus. 2 days, 3 days around, or usually like 2.5 days around the 16th of August. and it's going to basically say that there's new energies for romance, there's new energies for creativity, for leisure and pleasure, and also for dealing with children. If you don't have any children around you, this can be your own inner child as well. And in Leo, it's about being bright, it's about being, I don't know, dramatic if you like, warmth, walking into a room and people noticing you. It's about being on stage, going to the theatre, and the spotlight is on you in some way. So you can look at that symbolically, and it can be the theatre of life, and it's just that you're brighter than bright and people notice you more. On the 23rd of August, the Sun enters Virgo up here in your 6th house, joining Mercury and Mars already there, bringing extra energy, extra brightness, safety, stability, insight around your everyday habits, around your work, what you do on a daily basis, even if it's not paid work, just working around the house, for example, but also your health and your well-being. So in Virgo's very interested in health, by the way, and so you may get more diligent about leading a clean life and eating clean foods, going for a walk, doing a bit of movement. I don't like that word exercise very much. But yeah, getting your life into a bit of a structure, like a schedule perhaps, and maybe it's a half-hour walk every morning or something like that that you can institute. Bring that into your daily schedule. Virgo would love that, particularly if you're walking near trees or out in nature. On the 23rd also, Mercury turns retrograde in Virgo here until the September 14th. It's not a great time to sign contracts or make important decisions about your everyday work or what you do, especially regarding health or your well-being. But it is a great time to finish off anything that you started before, let's say, the 16th of August. Anything you start before that, you can finish it off and complete it, but not a great time for starting new projects with Mercury retrograde. Travel can be problematic as well, and you need to allow lots of extra time if you have multiple legs in your travel itinerary. No, I would be not going overseas. But yeah, if you have to go overseas because you've already booked your ticket, just try and have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. Okay, and allow extra time. The 27th sees Mars entering Libra. This is very long. Gosh, I'm going way over time here. Mars going into your house of significant others, especially partnerships or legalities, but Mars brings a lot of energy. It's good for your sex life, but it can also cause arguments, irritation and impatience, so watch that. And the 28th sees Uranus retrograde in Taurus here, breakthrough type flashes around your finances and also your value systems, as I mentioned before. Okay, so that's it. Awesome, Aries. Have a wonderful month. I'll see you all again soon. And don't forget to subscribe and be alive. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thanks and bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me today. I have the terrific Taurus August horoscope. A bit happening for everybody, some interesting things. Okay, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and be alive and hit that notification board. Let's go to the board right now. Here's your horoscope. But firstly, I would like to draw 2 cards as theme cards for the month for you. Okay, so let's have a little look and see what we can see. I see in spirit a lighthouse on a promontory, so it's about warning ships. There's some rocks around, okay, but if you listen to your subconscious and you go along with the flow and you pay some reasonable amount of attention to what's going on in your life, you can miss those rocks. Okay, Spirit is telling you just be a little bit cautious on this point. Okay, and you'll know because you've got common sense, hopefully. Let's have a look and see what the cards say. The card that comes up is the Ten of Swords. This has been coming up a fair bit lately. It's basically saying that there are some burdens that you have been carrying. There's a lot on your shoulders that you've been worried about, perhaps a bit of a challenge, but you've already done the bulk of the work for the challenge. It's like there's a mountain here and you've climbed that mountain and come down the other side. It's time to let go of all this additional weight that you've been carrying. A lot of green here in her skirt, also the tree in the background. It's like a young tree. That could be you in some way, trying to get a foothold in some sort of area. However, it's the end of a cycle, being a 10, and a new cycle is about to begin. So let go of the burden. Whatever it is, the heavy things that you're carrying, let them go. It's not worth it. Okay, 10 of Swords. And let's look at the 10 of Wands, that is. Not swords, it's wands. So it's about the fiery creative energy. The motivation might not be there as it normally would have. Maybe you've had motivation to do something for a while and you've done it, but now you're running out of juice. That's okay, you can let it go. All right, now we're doing the second card. What do I see? There's like an Indian gentleman here. I don't mean Asian Indian, I mean American Indian. And it's like I'm out in the desert somewhere and he's pointing and he's giving me directions. Okay, so sometimes we go through periods in life where we feel sort of dry. The creativity, the excitement isn't there as much as what it normally is. However, you are on a path and you're on the right path, and somebody is giving you directions to encourage you to keep going on your path. Yes, you can have a little break. However, the journey's not completed yet. It's really important that you listen to your intuition, that you get in touch with your subconscious, what is really going on deep down in your body. So the subconscious, it's the 12th house. You do have Chiron in your 12th house here this month, and this is like the wounded healer. So sometimes the wounded healer can teach other people from their own experiences. It's like we have to go through these painful episodes so that we can use that energy to evolve and advance ourselves, but not only ourselves, other people as well. So it's important to listen to your subconscious. And this wolf energy is like a teacher energy. So somebody may come along and play the role of teacher for you, and then in turn you may play the role of teacher for somebody else. It's a major arcana card. It's fairly important. Okay, time for meditation and just sitting and being quiet this month would be very helpful for you. Now let's go to make this board a bit bigger. Bear these cards in mind, and I'm going to talk about your horoscope now. First thing to notice is these pretty little pictures, so expertly drawn by myself. We've got a T-square. The T-square is with the moon. I've just made, this is done for the 1st of August. I've just made that moon bigger to let that it's a full moon in Aquarius. Okay, so you might get a bit of turbulence going on in your public area of life, in your career if you're working, or in your general life direction. In Aquarius, it's good to become a little bit detached from that and to look at the big picture. It could be occupying a lot of your thoughts. Technology might even be in your thoughts as well. Maybe you can improve your career or your life mission through the use of technology. But this is only like the first day of the month, literally, because the moon will only stay in this position for hours, so it will move. So this T-square, this red square here, it's going to dissolve very quickly. We have Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, here in your 1st house, about how you get your message out into the world, and again involving technology. And it's going retrograde on the 28th of the month. So it means that the unpredictable, surprising, volatile elements of Uranus could become internal, so that you might have brilliant flashes of insight into a situation and how you can use technology to help you in some way. If it's not technology, it could be something to do with science, or it could just be something to do with something that's radical, like a radical activity. that can help you in how you approach the world, or maybe you become more radical and that's your new face, so to speak. And the other part of that is the sun bringing insight and awareness as well. So all of these energies of the moon, Uranus and the sun will sort of combine to bring about a situation around the first of the month. But it could be something very unusual, but something ultimately positive as well. Okay, and then the next thing to note is there is a full blue moon in Pisces here on the 30th, bringing again a bit of turbulence. It's to do with your hopes and dreams, or perhaps to do with the people, the groups, the friends that you already associate with. It could be emotional. It's important to go with the flow at that time. On the 16th, the new moon is down here in Leo, bringing a new beginning around your home and family. The moon is dark and it will come off dark, and it's saying it's time to plant a new beginning, plant seeds around home and family. Okay, maybe you decide to redecorate because you've got Venus there as well in that house, and it's retrograde, so it could be that these two catch up and you're doing something to beautify your home. Okay, it's also about improving relationships with family members. The 23rd sees the sun entering Virgo here in your house of leisure and pleasure and creativity, bringing lots of insight, comfort, contentment, happiness to your inner child and also to those children around you. Maybe you're having more to do with children, or you're looking after your own inner child who so desperately needs your care and attention. The 23rd also sees Mercury here going retrograde in Virgo until September 14th. It's not the best time to travel because things can be delayed under Mercury retrograde. It's sometimes Mercury retrograde can affect your devices like your computers or your phone or whatever, so do back up all your devices. There can be problems with the internet, for example, because Mercury is all about communications. It's also about the trickster energy, especially when it's retrograde. Watch for scams. Don't click on any links that you don't know. Okay, it's really important to do that. And if you're in Australia, I don't know what the story is in other countries. If you're in Australia, you will often get warnings, like if a new number texts you, for example, please report it. If you don't know that number, report it. If you think it's a scam, because that can save other people. It's not just about you, it's about saving other people from possible scams as well. Mercury retrograde brings discommunications, if there's such a word. There's probably not, but I just made it up. So these are communications that cause discomfort in some way. So do be aware of that. And it's not a good time to start anything while Mercury is retrograde. We've got a thing called shadow period either side of the 23rd of August and the 14th of September, say for a week, when it's in what's called shadow period. So that's when the energy is still operating but not at full strength, is what I mean, coming on or going off. But anything you start before, say, the 16th of August, and you put it down because whatever reason you don't have time to finish it, it's good to go back and finish it under Mercury retrograde. The 27th sees Mars entering Libra here, bringing a lot of energy to your everyday habits, your everyday work, what you do on a daily basis. You could be feeling a little bit more energetic, a bit more ambitious to get stuff done. Also brings more energy to your health and well-being. Maybe you decide you want to pamper yourself a little bit. I got that word before, pampering. There it is again. So that's the second time. So I think Taurus, a massage would be really good for you, or a facial, or some way of pampering, but that which involves touch, and because Taurus is very sensual, so these things would be good for you, will help you to let go of the burdens of your life and to get more in touch with your body and your subconscious. And then 28th of the 8th, Uranus retrograde in Taurus that I already mentioned. Something surprising, something out of left field. You wouldn't normally expect it, but it comes into your mind. It's probably only in your mind. It may not manifest physically because it's retrograde. But Jupiter is conjunct with Uranus, and normally Jupiter is very beneficial, lucky sort of energy. So it may benefit you in the way that you create and get your message out into the world and how you appear to the world. It could be around your identity or your physical appearance. Maybe you're thinking of doing something a bit radical, cutting your hair, doing your hair in a different way, or maybe even some sort of thing with your face. Maybe you're looking at cosmeceuticals or cosmetic surgery perhaps. Okay, and that would kind of fit with this extra energy given by Mars to do with health as well. Okay, so that's it. I hope you find this useful. Thanks so much for listening to this video, and don't forget to subscribe and be alive. Have a wonderful month, terrific Taurus, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me today for the Gemini August horoscope. Some interesting things happening this month. First, I'm going to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. So let's go to the board now. Here's your horoscope, which we'll come to in a moment. But let's draw these cards first up. And I'll close my eyes. So the first card can be the first half of the month. There's a big diamond in front of me. It's cut in a circle and there's lots of different facets in this circular diamond. So perhaps there's a completion coming to you, something from the past coming back to be finished off, and that completes unfinished business, so to speak. Diamonds are caused by heat and pressure. Okay, sometimes we need that heat and pressure to get something really valuable out of a situation. The card that comes up is the 10 of Wands. This keeps coming up, this card. If you're following me, you will recognize that it's the end of an era. It's time to put down all of the burdens, all of the oppressions, the things you've been carrying on your shoulders. The 10 means it is the end of the cycle. It's a 1 and a 0, so there's new things coming. However, there's a little bit of time. You have to be patient. Okay, the 0 is the limbo zone, or it's the area where you just have to wait and be patient. Green in the skirt, green up here on the hill, and a green tree, a young sapling in the background here. So you too can be a young sapling growing up, and perhaps you'll feel revitalized when you let go of the burdens of the past that you've been carrying. Okay, this month you may well have some insights into what those burdens are and the ways that you can let go. Now the second half of the month, what do I see for gorgeous Geminis? Closing my eyes, doors opening in front of me. There's a fish bowl here with a couple of goldfish. Fish are the messengers of the unconscious. Okay, so some little messages coming up that you'll be able to pay attention to and to comprehend what they mean yourself. All right, let's see the card that comes up. This is another card keeps coming up, the Judgment card. Doesn't seem to it doesn't matter how many times I shuffle the cards, the cards that want to come up. This card never comes up, and then just the last few weeks have been coming up so much. Okay, so here we have an angel looking out over all of this, blowing her little wee trumpet there, asking the people, beseeching the people to step out of their restrictive boxes of their belief systems. Okay, whatever it is that you believe now, you may well find that sometime in the future, maybe not too far away, I would think in terms of months, not years, but not many months, that you're going to see the light and make a fresh decision. Judgment is all about, obviously, making judgments. We make judgments about lots of people, but worst of all, I guess, is we make judgments about ourselves. So that makes it even harder for us, our own judgments, because we carry those around in our heads, you see. So they're with us all of the time. It's an it's an unfolding sense of purpose in the world and what our mission is that is influenced by our judgments. So if we think we're not good enough, are we going to fulfill our mission, basically? You become more aware of the interconnectedness of all things. And even though we're different people in different countries, we have more in common than what you might think initially. So this is telling you or asking you to turn your mind to upstairs and ask them, I guess, to relieve you of the burden of judging yourself and others. So it's a major arcana card. It's pretty important. Okay, now let's go to the board and make it a little bit bigger so we can look at your horoscopes. Okay, that one you can't quite see and it's fairly important. Okay, the Judgment card. All right, here's the horoscope. The first thing to notice is we've got a T-square and a finger of God. The T-square's got the moon involved, and it is a full moon in Aquarius. But the moon moves very, very quickly, so this T-square is only going to last a day, not even two. A day, we're talking hours, really. And it's between the moon, Uranus, here in your 12th house, the moon in your 9th house, and the sun here in your 3rd house. Study might be on your mind, communications might be on your mind, and something to do with your local area is another alternative option here. With Uranus, it could be something surprising or volatile or even radical, but it's more likely to be within you, okay? What you think about a situation, what judgments you make about a situation involving communication, studying, or perhaps even a distant relative or somebody in your family that you haven't had much contact with. It brings up subconscious things out of your subconscious, obviously. It brings up, sometimes with the full moon, they can be turbulent. In Aquarius, there could be even some issues with technology. Maybe things are not working properly. Your devices might crack up or something. But yeah, often you find, especially with people who have any sort of psychic ability, or if they're in that esoteric type industry, electrical things go haywire. Later on in the month, we'll have Mercury Retrograde. That also causes a lot of things to go haywire. So this T-square only lasts the day of the 1st. So don't worry about it. Maybe on that day, don't do extra things or go out and about too much or things like that, because the T-square does bring challenges. Now, but on the positive side, we also have Pluto, Neptune, and Venus making the finger of God here, with Neptune and Pluto bringing transformative spirituality, maybe around your career, and it's focused here to Venus is the focal point. So it could be something to do with relationships, maybe beauty or art. It's in the 3rd house. It could involve communications that are very profound or very meaningful to you. Okay, so they're the two aspects to start the month. The full moon in Aquarius here is on the 1st, and it's in your house of the higher mind. You might really be thinking about re-educating yourself in some way, or perhaps you're interested in travelling, or there's some sort of interrelationships, some sort of communications with people that are more exotic than you, or maybe they have overseas connections. That's always possible. Interestingly, we also have a full blue moon in Pisces on the 30th of the month here in your house of career. Now, a blue moon just means that it's a full moon that occurs twice in 1 month. Doesn't normally happen. A blue moon is really not an astrological thing, but I always include it because I think it's something a little bit different. In Pisces, you could be very much going with the flow. There could be a lot of intuition around your mission in life, or perhaps if you're working, whatever your career is, or maybe to do with authority figures such as a parent, Traditionally, this house was associated with the mother, but these days roles are so fluid between parents, whether one stays at home or one goes to work or they both go to work. So I don't think anymore that it's a particular parent, but yeah, it used to be considered the realm of the mother. This is also about your public life. So there could be, your intuition could be on display in your public life in some way. So whether that's work or whether that's on social media or not, we will see. The new moon on the 16th of August is in Leo down here, adding to the overall energies of the third house, again bringing a new start, a new beginning to your communications. Some flashes of wisdom and knowledge could come out on display, but it's also to do with your local area and getting about town, getting your errands done, getting more organised with those things that you have to do locally. We have the 23rd, sees the sun entering Virgo here at home, and it's bringing comfort and stability and insight and awareness, and it's joining Mercury and Mars here. So there could be a lot of energetic activity around the house until the 27th, when it then goes into the 5th house. But yeah, with Mars, do be cautious with your family and friends that no arguments develop. It's just because with Mars there's a lot of extra energy that other people don't have. So you may want to discuss something or plan something out, but there's a lot of force in your voice, so just be aware of that. Sometimes words can come out more forceful than you anticipate. And there we will have, yeah, it does look like something major around the home and family where there's a lot of energy expended. Added to that, on the 23rd, Mercury is going retrograde also here, so that does give a bit of a tendency for communications to be misunderstood, any travel arrangements to go haywire, computers and devices to play up. So yeah, do be careful of miscommunications. That's 23rd of August till September 14th. And it is a great time for finishing off things that you started, say, before the 16th of the 8th, because from the 16th to the 23rd is basically a thing called a shadow period, when the energy is not fully on but it's coming on. And then from the 23rd to the 30th, again another shadow period where the energy is going off. Excuse me, coughing here. Okay, and finally we have on the 28th, we have Uranus retrograde back here in Taurus, bringing surprising revelations from your subconscious. It's in a retrograde position. You have to find a new way to deal with something surprising or unpredictable, but it's in the 12th house, so it's probably not a physical thing. It's probably coming out of your subconscious, so you might have unexpected dreams, that you have a weird dream and then you think, oh my God, what did that mean? Because it's so weird or strange. I dreamt about koalas last night, for example, as you do. And then you have to sit down and work out all the elements of your dreams. Okay, so that's it, gorgeous Gemini. Oh, I forgot to mention, Mercury is your ruling planet. So Mercury retrograde is probably going to have a very strong effect on you, especially in Virgo, because Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. So it's an earth planet, but you're an air sign yourself, but the same modality. So you're probably going to be really affected. So do be cautious with Mercury retrograde, with all of your communications, your travels, and everything else that you do. Have a fabulous month, everybody. I'm sure you will. If you're new, subscribe and be alive. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Have a great month, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me today. I've got your Cancer August horoscope ready for you. Okay, if you're new, subscribe and be alive, and don't forget to hit that notification bell right now. I've got the cards. Let's go to the board. Here we are, and we're going to see what 2 cards come out for you. Theme cards for the month of August for Cancer. My God, what does this mean? It's the weirdest thing. I've got blue flowers coming out of your right ear. I don't even know. They're a small little flower, and the flower wisteria, which is mauve, and it's got the most beautiful smell. And they're sort of on a vine that sort of cascades down. Usually you hang them over arbors and things like that. And it's like it's a blue, a cross between wisteria and, what's that one called? Not hibiscus. Okay, it's an old-fashioned flower. I just can't think of the name of it. I've got 2 of them myself. Anyway, so the fact it's your ear, it's something that you're hearing. And blue could mean that there's some sad news coming, and you might be called to help somebody, that somebody might need help. And you hear something that is a bit, rather sad for them. So let's have a look and get more clarification on that. Caring Cancerian, you're very compassionate, generally speaking, and people know that they can come to you when something happens. We have a Page of Pentacles here, which is news, and it's about money, your money systems. You've got a lot happening here. So I'm wondering, sad news is somebody else. I feel like it's somebody else concerning money then, not so much you, because you're the one that's listening to it or hearing it. Maybe it's somebody in your family loses their job, perish the thought, or somebody that loses their job. However, this just says that news is coming, but we've got a beautiful blue sky here in the background. So, and these clouds, the good news is that yes, clouds come, but they also blow away very quickly. So if it is something like a job loss or something affecting somebody's money close to you, those clouds can blow away very quickly, and there's a better opportunity that's coming. Okay, let me know in the comments what you think about that. I just don't know how else to interpret blue wisteria-like flowers, and it's going to annoy me. I'll have to go and have a look at those bushes that I've got to remember what those 2, they're called, those flowers. They come in pink, green, blue, and mauve, and they change colour depending on the soil, and they've got a great big sort of flower like that, like it's like the size of your hand. And yeah, depending on if there's lime, I think it is in the soil, how much lime, that determines the colour. All right, let's have a look at the second card for the month. What do I see? Oh, okay, an upcoming birth. I'm looking at an ultrasound. So this could be an actual physical pregnancy that you hear about, or it could be a new beginning that is life-changing, like a new business or maybe a new relationship even, but something that's going to change the course of your life. The card that comes up is the 10 of Cups. This is associated with motherhood, so it could be somebody that is quite close to you is planning on having a baby, or they fall pregnant. Okay, children, you see the little rocking horse here, children may be indicated. It's very important. This card suggests that it's all about caring and nurturing, looking after other people, which is what you do, Cancerians. You do help other people. You tend to. However, it's equally as important to care and look after yourself, look after your inner child. This is all about home and hearth. Okay, so 10 of Cups. I'll just move that there like that. Now, let's have a look at your horoscope in depth. I'll make it a bit bigger, like that. Okay, good. Bear these 2 cards in mind. And the first thing I want to talk about is this fabulous finger of God that is pointed at Venus here in your money. Okay, Page of Pentacles, news coming. Now, Venus loves to spend money. She loves beautiful, luxurious things, and she can tempt you to overspend, especially here in this position in Leo in your second house. So Leo does like nice things, and Leo is the king of the jungle and does like to be the center of attention too. And so Venus here could be pointing to the need to buy beautiful things. Just be cautious with your dollars. But you're still likely to go ahead because you've got all of the energy of Pluto, which is all about transformation, and the beautiful spiritual energy of Neptune, and they're both sending their resources to Venus here in the second house. So it could be that you buy something beautiful. It could be that new clothes, beautiful clothes, might really appeal to you. It's also about your value systems as well, and you might appreciate or come to a different view about money. What is more important? Where does your views about money fall in comparison to other things in your value system that might be equally or even more important? Could also be something to do with a relationship or somebody or something that you love, with Venus there too. Now, we do have on the 1st of the month the full moon in Aquarius. Here I've just drawn it again because I want to say it's a full moon, and it's there in your 8th house of other people's money. So this could be something to do with the money that you share with somebody else, whether that be a human like a partner, or maybe you get a tax check refund that could be possible too. The 8th house is shared resources, so that can also be things like superannuation or 401k if you're in the US. It can be your sex life, the energy that you share with other people, basically, is what it comes down to. And with the full moon there could be a bit of a shake-up, or there's some insight that comes to you. It's like shining a light onto a situation that's been in your subconscious, and then you finally understand. Added to this, on the 30th, we have the second full moon of the month, which is known as a blue moon, and that's in Pisces here in your house of the higher mind. Sorry, I've been doing so much talking today. The house of the higher mind, and there's a bit of a shake-up there around the things that you think about, like education, for example, philosophy, spirituality, but it's also associated with the exotic or perhaps people from other countries. On the 16th of August, the new moon is in Leo here, again in your house of personal finances. This brings a new beginning. In Pisces, it's likely that you'll go with the flow, you won't resist or fight, and it's like it's going to take you on a bit of a journey regarding your personal finances, or perhaps the things that you value. Did I say Pisces? New moon in Leo was what I was trying to say. I don't know where I got Pisces. Pisces, the full moon is in Pisces. Sorry, it's in Leo. And so, as I said before, Leo loves beautiful things, loves to be the centre of attention, and with Venus there could be, again, this temptation, if you like, to buy something beautiful. On the 23rd, the sun enters Virgo here in the 3rd house, and it's in, yes, Virgo. So this is going to bring you down to earth, but in a good way, again, bringing some sort of security or even happiness around dealing with people in your local area, or maybe your neighbours. You could have a lot of friendly chit-chats with your neighbours, and you realise what good people they are. And also on the 23rd, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo until September 14th here. Venus is already retrograde since last month, and these two will... Well, they're not quite, we're 26. Yeah, they are. It's a wide conjunction of 7 degrees, or almost 7 degrees, and we might find that there's beautiful friendships that come locally. Then we have, Mercury retrograde. Do be careful of miscommunications, also issues with your devices, and travel can be affected as well. Sometimes your car can have an issue under Mercury retrograde. It could be tyres or batteries and things like that. And it could be for a week before, so say from the 16th to the 23rd, the energy is coming on. It's not fully on, so if you've got important contracts to sign, that's not a good time either. And a week after September 14th, the energy is coming off. It is a great time to finish anything that you started prior to the 16th of August. You might feel like you want to go back to something in the past and finish it off. With Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde, there could be something to do with somebody you used to know, and you hear news, or maybe somebody owes you money from the past and you hear news about it, hence this Page of Pentacles. Then we have Mars entering Libra on the 27th of the 8th here, bringing a lot of energy to your home and family. Perhaps there are some redecorating ideas that you have. Maybe you want to get out and do some gardening. Maybe you can rope in your family members to help you dig and things like that. But yeah, the only possible disadvantage with Mars there is sometimes it can bring family arguments if you're a bit impatient or irritable, so just watch that. The 28th sees Uranus retrograde in Taurus up here. Surprising things could happen with your friends or associates of the groups that you're a member of. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, and it actually might even not be physical. It might be that you get an awareness of something that's rather surprising, or perhaps it's even rebellious. Something's going on in a group and you feel a bit rebellious about it. You don't want to toe the line, but that's completely understandable. All right, so that's it. I hope this is helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching this month. Have a fabulous month, and if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Thanks again. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the wonderful Leo August horoscopes. Okay, so let's go to the board now. If you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much. I would really appreciate that. Let's go to the board now, and I'm going to pick 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. And I like to have a little vision first, so I close my eyes. What do I see? What do I see? Just waiting for a picture. Okay, so I've got a fence. So you may have been really careful about boundaries previously. It has a sort of mixed effect, because boundaries are great for you protecting yourself and keeping your privacy and so on. However, sometimes we can become rather inner focused with too many boundaries. So it's always a balance, isn't it? However, I do get, there's a gate here in the fence that I can see, and I do get you opening up the gate. And I feel like you're going to let some of your boundaries down. So of course, be wise and use some discernment as to which boundaries you allow down. You may become closer to somebody, a friend or somebody else, maybe a lover, in some way. Just know that you're dealing with humans. Humans don't always get it 110% right, but maybe that's, you wanted closeness. It's important. It's important to your heart. Everybody needs somebody they can confide in. All right, Leo, let's have a look and see what we see. The card that comes out is the King of Swords. You could be thinking very logically, and so maybe you decide about your boundaries, well, no, I'm going to keep them up, I don't trust them, or something like that. And sometimes if you're dealing with a particularly ruthless person, that might be the best way to go. Just know that everything, when you shut something out, you often shut out all the good things as well. So again, it's a balance. There's a lot of butterflies here, which can suggest new life. It's around your thinking, cutting something off so that you can start something new. This is all about logic, but just be cautious yourself that you don't go down the same path and be ruthless as well, because there may be a temptation to do that with this energy. The King of Swords, it's a very masculine way of thinking, and if you've been in a relationship with somebody, then you want to get, again, the balance of the male and the female. There's a bit of intuition here too with this indigo colour, which is a good thing, so do listen to that. All right, King of Swords, that is the first card that indicates the first half of the month. Let's have a look now at the second card, the second half of the month. What do I see? I see a fountain in the town square. You may be getting out and about, particularly more in your local area. and there could be some friendships or some people there. I see the water flowing. A whole bunch of cards just come out and we can't read all of those. I see the water flowing, which means that there's likely some vitality here and a little bit of nurturance coming from other people. All right, and the card that comes out is the Sun card, insight and awareness, and probably even some happiness coming to you. So that's good news. This is about contentment. It's being happy with your lot, being happy with the decisions you've made in your life. And insight comes, which again works with your intuition here and probably confirms your intuition, something that you already think. Okay, time will tell, but it seems that your intuition is definitely improving. Now let's make this a bit bigger, like that, and I'll move that so that you can see them properly. All right, the first thing we have here, you'll notice this pretty little triangle here, expertly drawn, of course, where we have a sextile and two quincunxes. It does bring some tension, but it brings creative tension, and this is around your money. You seem to have a lot going on here to do with your finances, a lot of insight coming, and the energies of Pluto here. Pluto in your 7th house of partnerships can mean endings of partnerships, significant partnerships, and also Neptune up here in your 9th house, spiritual close connections with people, particularly those overseas. Neptune is in Pisces, so it's very at home there and brings a very strong spiritual vibe. Sometimes it can bring a bit of confusion as well, so you just have to watch that, but it is particularly related to you broadening your life. Maybe travel's involved, especially in this house. This is called the House of the Higher Mind, but it's very much associated with overseas travel and spiritual connections in other countries. Okay, sometimes this house can be about education. You may be looking at some sort of spiritual education, looking at how you can bring that spiritual element more into your thinking, and maybe you're looking at retraining in some way. Okay, but with the energies of Neptune, it's sort of like transformative spirituality or transforming your spirituality, and this is all directed towards Venus here in your house of money. Venus does look after money, but she particularly loves beautiful things. She loves to look beautiful. She can tempt you to overspend. Okay, so do watch that. Buying things that are beautiful, that appreciate in value, is also something that she might encourage you to do. So sometimes they're collectible things like cars, old-fashioned cars, or art, or jewellery, or something that appreciates in value. Okay, that would be a good use of the energy rather than just overspending on trinkets. Okay, so this is also, even though there's some tension with it, it's a very creative force, and you could come up with new ways to make money, new ways to personally improve your finances. So the first thing to note is that we've got the full moon here in Aquarius in your 7th house, bringing a bit of a shake-up. That's okay. Sometimes our relationships do get a bit turbulent, and with that we can find that things are moving on. Now there's only one moon. It's the full moon. I've just drawn it bigger like that so you can see it's full. It is actually conjunct to Pluto here, so it could be bringing up something in you, an ending around. It could be multiple relationships endings, or at least they change and they go on to another footing in some way. Then we have the full blue moon, which is the second full moon in the month, up here in Pisces, again bringing a bit of a shake-up to those resources that you share with others. Sometimes it's tax or superannuation, or even any loans that you may have. That's on the 30th of the month. This full moon, the first one, is on the 1st of the month, starting the month off. This one's on the 2nd of the month. The new moon on the 15th is here in Leo, which is your sign, so happy birthday to all Leos coming up. And also it's going to bring out new identity or a new way you can appear in the world, and it's all about how you approach the world, okay? Are you going to change your identity in some way? And part of that can be through your relationships, through your job. You do have a lot going on here in your house of career, and I'll talk about Uranus in a moment. But your long-term career, it's also getting surprising things going on. We have Mercury going retrograde on the 23rd of the month, and that's in Virgo. And again, that's your house of money here. And it will be retrograde until September 14th. This could affect your communications, could affect your thinking, especially your thinking around money. It's not a good time to spend money on large purchases or things where you've got to sign something and sign a contract. This is not the best time. So Venus might encourage you to, but Mercury retrograde does not. Both Venus and Mercury retrograde, so maybe you're thinking about these things, but it doesn't mean that you should act just yet. Then we have Uranus in Taurus up here in your career zone, your status, and also authority figures such as your mother, for example. And something unusual could happen. But again, because it's retrograde, it may not be that physical. It may be that you have a realization about something unusual to do with your work or your public status or your mother or an authority figure. And sometimes a bit of rebelliousness might come up with that, or there's volatility around it. Okay, so basically that's it. It's going to be an interesting month, and you might be surprised where you land up. There could be a lot of transformation going on, but it's for the better, even if you don't feel quite sure. Watch out for ruthless people, and watch out that you don't go down the track of being ruthless yourself, because it only comes back on you if you do that. So the best thing is to get on and do what you have to do and not worry about what other people are doing. That's probably my best advice on the matter. All right, so thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate that. Have a wonderful month, lovely Leos, and don't forget subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll see you all again soon. Thanks and bye for now. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me. I've got the vivacious Virgo August horoscope here. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to draw 2 cards as theme cards for the month for you. Let's go to the board now and we'll do that. Alrighty, so 2 cards for the first half and the second half of the month. What do I see for the first half of the month? Okay, I can't actually see this, but I get the sense of silver. So this is the feminine sort of energy, silver. But it could also be involved with silver jewellery, might become more important to you this month, vivacious Virgo. Okay, so it's important to be receptive to what the universe is offering you. I'm seeing silver coasters and silver platters and all manner of silver things. Don't know if that means much. It just means to me getting in touch with the feminine. The card that comes up is the 7 of Cups. This indicates somebody who is reaching out for spiritual attainment. It's not always easy. Sometimes there's some sort of sacrifice involved, whether that be a sacrifice of your time or your energy in order to fill the various cups of your life. The other thing it can possibly mean is setting a boundary and saying no to somebody. And you might be in mixed minds. You may not want to do it, but that it's the best thing to do because they might just be taking too much of your precious time or your energy in some way. Sometimes, particularly friends, they'll be getting in contact with you and they'll want readings all the time or things like that. So You just have to set a boundary and that's it. All right, the second half of the month, what do I see for you? The door is opening in front of me. It's like I feel like I've been in a dark place, very uncertain of what my role in life is, perhaps, or what my direction in life is to be, what my mission is. And then a door opens, a door of opportunity, and a lot of light is on the other side. So I feel like you're going to get some sort of awareness of what the future holds. Oh, interestingly enough, the Emperor comes out. Some people actually like this card. I'm not one of them because they feel that the law is laid down, so they know what the rules are, and so it makes them feel quite safe. However, the other side of that is that this can be quite dominating, this card. So somebody could be dominating you in some way. But it is also like a mature masculine sort of energy. There's a lot of conviction here on his part, and he can carry out his ideas, execute his plans, he can manifest, okay? So it is a useful sort of energy like that. He often maintains a very satisfactory overview of all the situations in his life, and he really likes stability. He likes to be in control, and he likes to use logic and reason a lot, okay? But there's times for this, okay? Especially if things are a bit turbulent or unpredictable or volatile, this sort of energy can make you feel more comfortable. At least you got some structure. It's very Saturnian, Capricorn type energy. You feel like you've got some safety. So I understand why people sort of can gravitate. Some people can gravitate to this kind of energy, especially if you feel like you're in trouble or there's been some, like a run of bad luck or something like that. This can make you feel safer, okay? So if you're finding this energy turns up in your life, just beware of the negative side of it where somebody could be quite dominating, but there is a positive side as well. Okay, so now I'm going to make this bigger for you. Okay, and bear these two cards in mind while I talk about what's happening now. Right at the start of the month, for one day only, because it's to do with the moon. This is a full moon, that's why I made it bigger here. We have a thing called a T-square, and it starts the month off. And so we've got the full moon here in your 6th house of everyday life. We've got Jupiter here in Taurus in your house of the higher mind, and we've got the sun here in the 12th house of the divine, unconscious if you like. These are all sort of causing a bit of a challenging time. It could be quite tense or stressful. You've got insights coming up from your subconscious. You've got turbulence in your everyday life, or perhaps your work, if you're working and doing paid work, or maybe it's even to do with your health. And then you've got the focal point over here, Jupiter trying to expand your life. You may want to travel overseas, you may want to learn more, study, somehow interact with the world and broaden your horizons. You want to step up. But these tensions, these other things within you and in your everyday life are sort of could be holding you back. But it's only for the first day. It's going to dissolve those. So don't take those tensions too strongly. More importantly, though, we have Neptune and Pluto here. There's some sort of major transformation going around or going on with your spirituality, especially connected to your close partnerships, and a transformation of your creativity. And it's all directed to Venus in your subconscious here, which is retrograde. So it's retrograde. It's about your ability to focus inwardly on your subconscious. So there's major changes going on there. It could be to do with relationships and your subconscious patterns around love and affection, or your subconscious patterns around how you spend your money, because we also have Mars going into your 2nd house I'll talk about in a minute. But to start the month off, we have that T-square with this full moon here in Aquarius, and it's going to bring a little bit of turbulence to your everyday life. On the 30th, we have another full moon. It's called a blue moon, and it's in Pisces here in your house of significant others or partnerships. Maybe it's a spouse or it could be a business partnership, someone that you're involved with as well, and that brings a bit of turbulence as well. In Pisces, it's coming up out of your subconscious, no doubt. On the 16th, the new moon is in Leo here, bringing a brand new start. So it's quite a spiritual time for you this month, vivacious Virgos. The sun's there as well. That's going to give you some real insight until the 23rd, when it moves over here into your sign, and then those things that have come up from your subconscious, you can unleash them onto the world because the sun moves into Virgo, and this is about the way you approach the world. It's about your identity and your appearance. And happy birthday to all Virgoans coming up. Then we'll find on the 23rd at the same time, Mercury is also there. And there could be, just to watch this, because Mercury sometimes when it goes retrograde can bring miscommunication. So in the way that you approach the world, make sure that you're very clear with what you're saying. If it's anything important, put it in writing, of course. Mercury retrograde can also be a bit of a trickster, so do watch for scams and such like. There's so many around these days, and it can interfere with your travel plans or also any legalities, because the 7th house over here, see these two are opposite, Virgo and Pisces, and any legalities that you might have could also get delayed. And that's till September 14th. And on either side of the 23rd and the 14th, allow an extra week for what's called a shadow period, when the energy is coming on or going off as well. It is a fabulous time to finish something that you may have started prior to, say, the 16th of August. It may come back to you to be finished. And because we've got Mercury here in your sign and Venus here in your subconscious as well, and both of those are retrograde, sometimes it's a past relationship that comes back. You may hear some news of somebody that you used to know. The 27th sees Mars entering Libra here, bringing a big lot of energy, I guess it's a bit ambitious. It's a bit like a push around your money supply. And fairly soon you'll see the North Node here as well in Libra. And the ruler of Libra is in fact Venus, that we already talked about up here in the 12th house, who loves beauty, loves relationships, loves love, and loves to spend money. So yeah, just be cautious you don't overspend or buy things that you may regret later because you've spent too much on trinkets rather than something that actually appreciates in value. With the North Node there, it might be a pre-existing pattern, something that you've done before where you've overspent, okay? And Libra loves, it might be in connection with a relationship. Maybe you're wining and dining somebody. For example, Libra also loves sweet foods. Go out to a nice fancy restaurant and have a beautiful meal and have a beautiful dessert. Libra loves that. Okay, so just watch the money side of things. And then on the 28th, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus as well. When the planet is retrograde, it doesn't mean that these things are actually going to happen in the outside world. They may not physically manifest, but you may be thinking about them and you may be feeling some effect in your psyche. And so there could be something surprising. It doesn't mean it's negative necessarily. It could be, but maybe not. But it's like a bolt of lightning out of the blue. And that's in connection with your higher mind, travel, maybe your education, your philosophy on life, and your spirituality. And you've got so much happening here in the unconscious that it probably is spiritually connected. And because of that, just watch people that are telling you how to be spiritual and that appear as the authority figure here. Yes, they may offer you a way to do it. They might offer you a path to do it, but that's their path. It's not your path, okay? So just be careful of that. Okay, so that's everything, Vivacious Virgo. I hope this is useful for you. Have a wonderful month. I'm sure you will. there's a lot of insight coming to you, which is always good news. And if you are new, subscribe and be alive, and I would really appreciate that. Have a great day and a great month, everyone. Bye for now. Hello and welcome, everybody. I've got the Libra August horoscope. Okay, so let's have a look, and I'm going to pick 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month. So we'll go to the board now. So, first half of the month, what do I see? Okay, there's a ladder. This is good because it means you're ascending in consciousness, you're going up in the world. It basically means that there's a lot of insight coming to you this month. If you've been feeling down in the dumps, that's about to change, okay? Things are looking more positive in August for you, lovely Libra, and it's about time. The card that comes out is the 9 of Wands. You may have been feeling very motivated about something a long time ago, but this has come to the end of a cycle now, and the 9 is almost there. Maybe you feel rather tired or exhausted, demotivated, jaded, and you're just over it. But more action needs to be taken. But you are well on your way to a new cycle. It won't happen overnight, but it is going to happen. And you're likely to have a substantial victory, even though it's been a struggle, okay? So this month is like, it feels like to me that it's like a turning point, finally. Let's have a look at the second half of the month for you. Things are looking up. Let's see what we get. I'll close my eyes. Lots of blue and green here, I can see, so growth, but also being in touch with your subconscious, okay? Yes, it's definitely in the sea. I can see some crabs with their claws sort of going sideways, scooting sideways. So it's not a straight line to success. It is a little bit convoluted, but don't give up, because it won't happen, but it will happen. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen, is what I'm trying to say. 8 of Pentacles. This is fantastic because it's about the work that you do, and you're going to be suitably rewarded for all of the work. There's like a spiritual energy around your work, and there's also a creative force with it. And it's part of it is expressing yourself is important. Keeping your feet on the ground is very important, and taking action, okay? So it's not so much about the talk, walking the talk. It's not so much about that. It's just about expressing yourself as you truly are. So your work is a vehicle, if you like, for self-expression, and you will be suitably rewarded for that, no matter what happens. There's a sort of level of craftsmanship and sort of skill involved in whatever it is that you do. If you're not doing paid work, this suggests that it might be some other sort of work where you're not being paid, but the principle's the same. Okay, so there we go. So focus on those 2 cards now, and I'm going to make this a bit bigger so that you can see what's going on. The first thing to notice is just for the first day of the month, because this involves the full moon in Aquarius on the 1st of August. So this is only going to last literally the first day. And we have the full moon in Aquarius here. We have Uranus in Taurus here in your 8th house of shared resources. The full moon's in your 5th house of creativity that I was just talking about. And we have the sun over here in Leo shining brightly amongst your friends and associates and groups. So there could be a bit of tension, but it's a kind of challenge or tension that actually results in a better outcome, okay? It could be that you have something that you need to do involving creativity, involving shared resources with other people, and also involving your groups or the people that you associate with. It's a great time for advertising if you're in business, even if there's a fair bit of work to be done and a sort of a tension with it on the first day of the month. But this full moon will move very quickly, and it'll dissolve just as quickly, okay? The tension with Uranus here in the shared resources, it's probably more to do with the tension that you feel within yourself rather than any sort of confrontation or any sort of uncomfortable thing with another person in the outside world. It's just the amount of energy that you're carrying at the moment. The other thing to note is that we have this beautiful finger of God with Venus here in your 11th house of groups and connections as well. You might find all of your relationships going really smoothly. They're polite, caring, affectionate, it's sort of warm, beautiful relationships with other people. And this is being fueled by transformative change here coming from your home and family, and also Neptune in your house of work. So there are some work considerations, but it's also to do with the people, the groups that you associate with. And it's like these two planets are funneling their energy down to the focal point of Venus here in your 11th house. How you'll be perceived by your friends, groups and associates, but also your hopes and dreams too are likely to be more positive and beautiful. So you may find that you even look beautiful, or you have a beautiful glow that people comment on. Perhaps they say, geez, you're looking good, or something like that. You might hear that from your friends. So this is good news. So a lot on with these two things. It does feel like there is a lot happening, but there's no major arcana here. These are everyday type matters. It's just that there's a lot of them that you have to deal with. So onwards and upwards. So now to look at your horoscope in depth, on the 1st of the 8th, the full moon in Aquarius that I already mentioned here. There's obviously only one moon. I've just drawn that a bit bigger because it's a full moon in your 5th house, bringing technology perhaps, or maybe surprising results, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus up here and there's a square. So a square aspect is a challenging aspect to do with joint resources with other people. And with the full moon could be a little bit turbulent for a day or two, again going back around the 1st. Excuse me, I've been talking so much. The other thing to note is there's a full blue moon in Pisces. I think it's a supermoon actually, and that's on the 30th of the month, and that's here in your house of work. So the beginning of the month and the end of the month, there is some sort of turbulence happening. The end of the month, it's either your work, your everyday routine, or alternatively your health. Okay, so the moon will come in and interact with Saturn fairly soon. So there could be some sort of restriction or limitation, or maybe timing is an issue, because Saturn does look after time, Father Time, Saturn is known as. But just as quickly, in a day or two, that will pass. Okay, it's only in this whole house for 2.5 to 3 days. So we're talking hours virtually. It depends on how long you allow for the orb, but a day at the most. And then on the 16th, we have the new moon in Leo up here. And this is a brand new beginning. It's like something has happened so that the new cycle has begun on this new moon. So the first half of the month, there's a lot of work to do. And then there's some new start to do with friends, groups, associates, but could also involve your hopes and dreams. And in Leo, it's about being boss of the wash. It's about being warm and shiny, and people notice you basically. On the 23rd, the sun enters Virgo up here. So the sun's going from being you shining on stage and out in the world, it's then retreating inwards and shining a light on your subconscious here. And you could have really big insights. You have a bit of activity going on there with Mercury. I'll talk about that in a minute. Mercury Retrograde and Mars as well. And then the sun comes to join the party. So a lot going on deep down in your subconscious that you will no doubt become aware of, because the sun is going to give you the insight and the knowledge. Okay, on the 23rd, Mercury is retrograde, also here in your 12th house in Virgo, and it's joined on the 27th by Mars. Mercury will be retrograde until the 14th of September, and in your 12th house, and because it's retrograde, it's more internal. This is a great time for you to relax a little bit if you can find the time, especially since the beginning of the month was so busy and you were so tired and you just had to keep on keeping on. But now you can sort of relax a bit, and that's a good thing, because there's bound to be a lot of messages from your subconscious and a lot of energies that you have to process. And it's not a great time to sign a contract after the 23rd, but even, excuse me, even after the 16th, try to avoid it until the 14th of September. And then there's a shadow period of say, about a week after the 14th. So it is a great time, however, to complete anything that you may have started, say, prior to the 16th of August. If you've already started something and it's not quite finished, that's okay. The 27th sees Mars in Libra that I just mentioned, bringing more energy. It's not really at home here in this house, Mars, and sometimes it can come out as impatience or irritability. You might feel like you want to get going on something and you're a bit restless to get something completed, but it's going to take the amount of time that it's going to take, and you can't hurry things up very, very easily. So it will be there, I didn't look at the date, but it's probably about 6 weeks or something like that. So yeah, you'll just have to sit with that and try and practice patience. On the 28th, we have Uranus retrograde in Taurus up here, and again it's more internalized, but some surprising revelations about the things that you share with other people, whether that be money, sometimes it's taxation, loans, superannuation or 401k. It's a bit volatile. Something unusual could happen in that regard. Alrighty, so that's your horoscope, lovely Libra. You're doing good work, so keep it up. Don't give up. Keep on keeping on, because you'll get there. Okay, thanks again, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Hello, sensational Scorps. So I've got your August horoscope here. There's a bit happening this month. Okay, so I'm going to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you, and then we'll have a look at your horoscope. So let's go to the board now. And this is your horoscope that will come to directly. But firstly, the cards. And the first half of the month, what do I see? Oh, this is very futuristic. It's a bit like George Jetson. They lived in those round buildings, those, I don't know, they were sort of like on stalks with a round living area at the top. That's what I'm seeing. So I feel like there's some futuristic changes around your living arrangements, perhaps, whatever that means. Let's have a look and see what card we get. We get the 6 of Pentacles. It's all about your dollars and how you pay, and maybe this is to do with technology and payments or something like that, but it's a very domesticated way of dealing with money. So yeah, you might be paying bills, deciding who gets paid and who doesn't get paid, and there's a bit of material prosperity there in that you can organise things the way that you want around money. The other thing I'm getting is that somebody may be asking you for money, maybe children or a loan, somebody that's up to you how you do it. But yeah, weigh up all of the factors before you go giving any loans to people. It's okay if you don't expect to be paid back if you can afford it, but yeah, that's something to think about. So it's not a big deal, and we don't have sort of much going on here to do with money apart from Venus being retrograde in your 10th house. So maybe work is involved or your career, because Venus does look after money, and retrograde things could become a bit more internalized. So yeah, if you work piecemeal or on contract, there might be some change in your income related to your career, and if you're not working, then it's your general life direction if you're not doing paid work. Okay, let's have a look at the second half of the month. What do I see for you, sensational Scorpios? Okay, there's a really old ancient wooden door in front of me and a gold key in a woman's hand. So you're about to go within and find something from the past. You could be looking at your foundations, your roots, your ancestry, something on your family tree that goes back for generations that possibly needs healing. Okay, we've got Chiron here in your house of work, everyday work, so maybe it is to do with work. That we're sort of getting like little clues that there could be some healing required there. Okay, let's look at the second card that comes up. The Ace of Wands, a brand new beginning. You could be feeling more motivated about something. You might be thinking of going to another job perhaps, or getting a side hustle. There's a mountain here in the background. You may have already climbed to this. This could be the past, in fact. It was a challenge around new beginnings, instigating something. There's a lot of growth in this. See these green leaves. But Spirit is literally handing you an opportunity to start afresh. And it's also a source of spiritual strength, and it's the seed of inspiration and creativity. So, okay, let's make this a bit bigger. Okay, here's your horoscope. First thing to bear in mind is we've got two things happening. This T-square involving the full moon here in Aquarius, Jupiter in Taurus, and the Sun in Leo here, related to your career or your life direction. It literally only lasts for a day. So there's some sort of challenge on the first of the month involving your family or your home, or especially if you work from home. And it could be, it's in opposition, direct opposition to, see that's 9 degrees 57, that's 9 degrees 18, so almost exact, related to your career or your direction in life. Okay, it's almost like in career you could stand out and really shine. People could really notice you, but it's in opposition to your home life. And it might be that there's either more work or less work, which interferes with your home life here. And Jupiter in your house of committed relationships that wants to expand. So you've got to get the balance between career, life direction, your partnerships with other people, and also home and family. And so don't take anything extra on to do on the first, because it just might be a stressful day if you do that. It literally lasts for hours, this tense time, because it's the moon. It travels very fast. It'll only be in your house of home and family for 2.5 to 3 days, and then it'll be gone and it'll be moving away. So just be cautious at the beginning of the month. And then the next thing is we have this thing called the finger of God, with Venus here again in your career zone, or maybe it's authority figures like a parent, or perhaps even your status or reputation. And Venus is here retrograde. I'll talk about that in a moment. But with Pluto here in your communications zone and Neptune here in your creativity zone, communications and creativity are literally being funneled into this beautiful energy of Venus, so that you appear beautiful in your life mission or your career, or as far as authority figures are concerned. Okay, this is a really beneficial creative force, the finger of God, and it's funneling a lot of energy your way, which will be very helpful to you. So on the first of the month, I already mentioned the full moon in Aquarius. Here, bit of turbulence at home. It could even be to do, because it's ruled by Uranus. Uranus is retrograde at the end of the month, which I will talk about that. But sometimes that brings surprising or volatile experiences, rebelliousness, reactivity. So yeah, home might not be the normal peaceful sort of place it normally is on the 1st of August. And added to that, on the 30th of August, there's a second full moon. It's known as a full blue moon. I think it's a super moon, in fact, so it'll be quite strong. And that's in Pisces here, shaking things up regarding any children you may have, regarding creativity, or even romance. Okay. On the 16th, we had the new moon in Leo, again in your house of career. So there's a big focus for you, Scorps, this month on your career zone, your relationship with authority figures and your reputation or status. And this is something new, a brand new project or a new relationship starting in your career zone. So it's a bit exciting. It's Leo, so it's about shining. It's people look to Leo as warm individuals, and you could really look good at this stage. So a stressful beginning to the month gives way to some beautiful energies happening. 23rd sees the sun entering Virgo here, bringing a lot of insight, warmth and stability to your associates, your friends, your groups, and also your hopes and dreams. There could be a lot of insight and knowledge coming to you. On the 23rd, the same day, Mercury is retrograde. Okay, so we're going to have retrograding Venus and retrograding Mercury. It doesn't mean that it's anything bad. It just means that the energies are more internalized. And sometimes with Mercury retrograde, however, communications can go amiss or become miscommunicated if you're not really clear. So I would say put everything in writing, and it's not the best time to sign a brand new contract. It is a good time to finish things that you started prior to the 16th. If you've started something, go ahead. If you've started it prior to the 16th. If you're starting something brand new, it's not the best time. Travel's not a good idea either. Often equipment can break down, or planes, trains, automobiles run late. So allow plenty of time in your schedule if you've got multiple legs to travel. Mercury is retrograde until September 14th. There's a thing called a shadow period for a week before the 23rd and a week after the September 14th, when the energy of Mercury retrograde is coming on or going off. The 27th sees Mars entering Libra as well, here into your 12th house. Mars is not very at home here. You could be feeling a bit irritable, a bit restless. It may even feel like you want to get going on something, but you're being held up. And Mars will be in this area for usually 4 to 6 weeks. I didn't look at the date, I'm sorry, but the following month I will tell you the date that Mars leaves the 12th house. It's not ideal. You might be having a lot of dreams. There might be a lot of activity in your spiritual life, however, but it's just not the time to get it physically down to earth and physically manifested. You will have to wait when Mars comes into your first house, then you can burst out into the world and do as much activity physically as you would like. The 28th sees Uranus retrograde in Taurus here. Could bring surprising feelings, surprising developments in close relationships or legalities, or even with what's called open enemies, which are just the people that you don't get on with. We all have some of those. But something surprising or unpredictable could happen. But because it's retrograde, it may not be a physical thing. It may be how you feel about a situation or how you feel about a certain person. It could be something unusual about it. Alrighty, so that's it. You'll be paying bills. You'll have the money to do it. You'll be starting new projects. There's a lot going on in your work zone or your career zone, or to do with authority figures or perhaps parents, particularly the mother, or because traditionally the 10th house is the house of the mother, but not always these days with the role fluidity that we have these days. So that's it, sensational Scorpios. I hope this is useful for you. Thank you so much. Don't forget, check out your rising sign and your moon as well, and have a fabulous month. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome, Savvy Sagittarius. I've got your August horoscope. There's a bit happening here, so let's go to the board. I'm going to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you to start. So here we go. There's your horoscope, but firstly, let's do these cards. So the first half of the month, what do I see for Savvy Sagittarius? There's a window opening up in front of me. It's quite a modern looking window, And this is a window of opportunity that I can see. It won't be open forever. So when the opportunities come up, you should grab them, okay? Don't dilly-dally or wait unnecessarily, because these opportunities are only open for a limited time. The Sun card. This is fabulous. You're going to be gifted with insight and awareness, comfort, stability, maybe even some modicum of happiness. So there's a sense of contentment, there's a sense of safety. The Sun is the source of all life. So it's a life-affirming energy that is coming your way at the beginning of the month. Major Arcana card, fairly important. Grab those opportunities with both hands. Now, the second half of the month, what do I see? A lion. So strength. Spirit is gifting you with strength. If you feel like you've been a bit down in the dumps, it's been hard to carry on, maybe you just need a bit of a break, and we've all been so inundated with change that we've had to psychologically adjust to. It's not easy. You can always ask Spirit for a bit of a break. Depending on what you're doing, you might find the break is not as long as you would like. I ask for 2 weeks, I get 2 days break sometimes. But yeah, don't be backward in asking. Don't be backward in coming forward and asking Spirit for a bit of a break. The card that comes up is the 9 of Cups. This is all about your hopes and dreams. Send them out to the universe, because Spirit hears everything. It's also about completion, coming to the end of a cycle that involves your emotions. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. Here you are seated on the shoreline, grounded and practical, but there's the ocean there, just a stone's throw away. So you are in touch with your emotions, you're in touch with your subconscious contents, and that's always a good thing. Sorry, my voice is going, I think. I don't have a flu or anything, it's just the amount I've been talking. So the genie is there waiting for your commands. Be very careful what you wish for, of course, and be specific, and it will happen in the universe's timeline, not necessarily your timeline. This is your horoscope, and I'm going to make it bigger so you can see. Now bear these 2 cards in mind. The 11th house, interestingly, the 11th house has got Mars going into it later in the month. I'll talk about that in a minute. That is the house of hopes and dreams and relates directly to this card, okay? The Sun is going into your career zone, or what is called the house of status, the house of reputation, and it's also to do with authority figures, could smile on you as well. So let's have a look at this more in depth. It's an unusual month because we have 2 supermoons. The second one is a blue supermoon, the second full moon of the month, and in this case it's a supermoon, okay? So it's going to be quite strong for everybody. The first supermoon is in Aquarius. Here there's only 1 moon there, I just made it a bit bigger, so it's a full moon. And Aquarius technology could be very much involved in your communications. You may have a lot of brilliant flashes of information come through. It could be a little bit turbulent with the amount of energy that you have to process related to your communications, but also your local area, or perhaps a distant sibling or family member like a cousin or somebody that's a bit sort of away. And you may find something comes back from the past, particularly with Venus and Mercury opposite up here, retrograde. You may hear some news from the past coming back. Okay, the second full moon, supermoon, blue moon in Pisces here in your house of home and also family. Again, it's going to come across Saturn, and so it could be some sort of restriction or some sort of structure around your family or home that is a little bit limiting. I'm getting a picture of a fence, so this could be an actual fence, but it's also a boundary, and it might mean that you have to set psychological boundaries with family members. Okay, in Pisces you may have an intuition. You may pick something up psychically that something's going on, and you can get in there quickly and set a boundary before it gets bigger and bigger and blows up into something. You can nip it in the bud, so to speak. On the 16th of August, the new moon is in Leo up here in your house of the higher mind, bringing a brand new beginning around study or in some way to make your life bigger. Your world gets bigger. That could also be through philosophy or spirituality or even travel. If you are traveling during Mercury retrograde, it can be a bit dicey. You have to allow it a lot of extra time because sometimes schedules go a bit skew with Mercury's retrograde. I'll talk about that in a minute. But a new moon brings a new beginning. It's a seed of inspiration for a new activity. And you may, like I said, you may be thinking about going overseas, or you may have more to do with people that come from other countries. And if you can't travel but you'd like to, maybe go to restaurants from where the people like Indian food, where they come from other countries, Indian, Japanese restaurants or something like that. At least that'll be something. Watch some videos here on YouTube for the country that you're interested in. I do that a lot, actually. I watched one last night. I was walking from Piccadilly Circus down to Covent Garden in London. Oh my God, I was just thinking about the people. There's always so many people in London in the summertime. Yeah, it's hard to walk sometimes. The crowds are, crazy. The 23rd of August sees the sun entering Virgo here in your house of career, life mission, and also it's to do with status or reputation and your relationship with authority figures. You've got a fair bit going on there, and it could be quite a meaningful time for you in terms of what you're doing publicly. So a lot, because there's so much going on up here in your public life, becomes more important, which sometimes it's a bit of an issue, sort of working things out with your private life. You do, with this finger of God here, there's Pluto in your second house and Neptune in your fourth house and Venus here in your house of the higher mind. These two planets, Pluto and Neptune, are funneling energy towards Venus. So you could really be thinking about your finances and how you could go overseas and have a beautiful experience, or how you can grow your life. So this is known as the finger of God, which is two quincunxes and a sextile, all funneling their energy here. But Venus is retrograde since last month, so it's likely to be a lot going on internally rather than externally. And Mercury goes retrograde on the 23rd of August through to the 14th of September. And sometimes with Mercury retrograde, it's hard to complete things, or if you start a new thing, it's hard to get going, but you can complete things that you start well before the retrograde. Say anything you started before the 16th of August, it's a great time to complete things. It's not a great time to sign contracts. It's not a great time to travel, as things can get mucked up. Equipment sometimes goes haywire, especially like your devices. If you have a car, then sometimes the car can play up as well. Things like batteries or tyres may need replacing under Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is known for its effects on travel. Okay, the 27th sees Mars entering Libra up here in the 11th house, bringing a surge of ambition, a surge of vitality to your hopes and dreams here, but also to networking, joining groups, meeting new people, going out and socialising with your friends and so forth. In Libra, it's likely to be quite pleasant. You could have a really enjoyable time and lots of activities with other people going out and about. Then we have on the 28th of August, Uranus retrograde in Taurus down here in your work zone. It's also your everyday habits and your health as well. Something surprising could happen in these areas, but again, it's retrograde, so it may not necessarily be physical. It might be that you've got changing beliefs or ideas about your work, and you might get like a flash out of the blue. See the sun. The sun might give you some sort of flash. We've got Where have we got here? The Uranus and Venus is making a square, so it could be something to do with your relationships with people that you work with. It's not quite conjunct, but depends on the orb that you use, but you could call that a wide conjunction with Jupiter. Might be something to do with a situation that grows your work, because anything that Jupiter touches grows, it gets bigger, and something could happen where there's growth, and you want to have controlled growth, not too much growth all at once, because then it's hard to manage, especially if you get busy at work. So you do have these two things here, but you have all of this going on in your career as well. So it does seem very much like a career-focused kind of month. If you're not working, it can be your life direction, and your normal everyday life could get busier in some way. You may have a lot of activities. As I said, it may not be physical, it might just be that you have a lot to process about things that are going on in your normal everyday life, or perhaps your health or well-being. Uranus isn't necessarily negative. It can come like a bolt out of the blue. Uranus in Taurus could be physical, but maybe not. It's hard to say, to be quite honest. But sometimes it's something pleasant that happens, but not always. Sometimes it can be something that is a bit shocking or gives you quite a surprise. So that's it. Savvy Sagittarius, don't forget, check your moon and your rising sign as well. Have a wonderful month. I'll see you all again soon. Thanks and bye for now. Hello and welcome, courageous Capricorn. I've got your August horoscope. Just a little note though, something I did notice was that your ruler Saturn is coming closer to the Earth in August, so it's a mere 830 million miles from the Earth. It does mean though that you may feel more constricted, slightly more constricted or restricted by your ruler Saturn. Could relate to times and schedules, or perhaps rules and regulations, so just keep an eye out for that. But let's go to the board. I'm going to draw 2 tarot cards now as theme cards for the month for you, and we'll see what comes up. Okay, it's like I'm looking at a big pattern making machine. I see a pattern being literally cut out with this big saw going around and around. So this is looking at your patterns of behavior, your belief patterns and things like that. So it might be that you're forming a new pattern for yourself. You might be willing to break some of your pre-existing rules and regulations about how you live and look to something that's more suitable for you now. The card that comes up is the Queen of Cups. This is beautiful. It means that you're more in touch with your emotions than usual, and that you're really tuning into your subconscious energies, your desires, especially those of your heart. And there's a grounding here in practical reality, because she's seated on the sand, and she's seated here on a shell, in touch with the emotions and the subconscious, but still quite practical and realistic, looking at the big picture in life. Okay, so the Queen of Cups, it's a beautiful energy. You'll notice the blue and the green there. The green of the heart chakra meets the blue of the throat chakra. It quite often brings warmth and love, particularly to do with women. And this energy has great emotional depth and can be quite generous, sharing herself and helping others. Okay, let's look at the second card for the month, the second half of the month. Okay, 2 things. First thing is, it's like a deck of cards. Lay your cards down on the table, which means have a discussion and just say whatever it is without trying to gild the lily or manipulate or anything like that, because that's normally not what you do, but it means just tell it how it is. The second thing, it was like the cards then turned into money. So money coming and going, and working out what you're going to pay and what you're not going to pay at the moment. The card that comes up is the King of Swords. This can be, sometimes people say it's ruthless, but it's very clear-headed, this energy. It's very cut and dried, and it will cut out superfluous things. Say if you were having trouble with money, for example, you do have the full moon in your personal money sector causing a bit of turbulence. You may just cut something out of your budget so that you don't have to worry about that. This energy here in the indigo does suggest some sort of intuition, and he's seated on a diamond with a diamond at the back. So he's come to this position through a lot of being up and down. He's been around the tracks, he knows what's what. But diamonds are often forged under pressure and heat, and so stressful times of the past can give you strength now. There's a lot of little butterflies here, suggest new life and new growth. So cutting back on something so that you can have a new beginning is what this card is about. The King of Swords, often very eloquent with words and can cut right through to the core of the situation with a few words. Some people don't like this energy, but it is a very necessary energy. It's like a mature person who is in full command of their lives. He has law and authority on his side, regardless of whatever field he chooses. If you're a woman, of course, this still applies to you because you do have masculine energy even if you're a woman. And particularly if you're postmenopausal, you may find that you become more cut and dried about things than what you were before, seeing all the shades of grey, so to speak. Alrighty, let's have a look now. I'll make this a bit bigger. We're going to look at your horoscope. Okay, few things happening. A fair few things happening, actually. The first thing, though, of importance is you'll notice this finger of God between transformative Pluto in your sign and also Neptune here in Pisces in the 3rd house. So there's a sextile between the two. So an easy flow of energy, and it's about bring spiritual energy into your communications, but also transformation. Nothing stays the same. Cycles end, cycles begin. You're about to start a new beginning because this is the 1st house. You are in a new beginning, and this is about your identity and how you present yourself to the world. Now, if you take those energies, they're directed to a focal point, which is Venus here in the 8th house, which is all about shared resources. And this can be such things as taxes, loans, inheritances, anything where you share your energy with others. It could even be intimacy. Sometimes it's superannuation, 401k, but Venus is retrograde there, so it's more that you're thinking about a lot of these issues to do with shared resources. The next thing to note is that we have 2 supermoons, and the first one is the 1st of August, and it's in Aquarius here, shaking up your finances, as I mentioned before. So it could be a little bit turbulent, and you're being called to look at the big picture, as this card indicates here with the birds in the sky. Look at the big picture around your personal finances. And the second blue supermoon, it's called blue because there's 2 full moons in the month, and this is on the 30th, and it's in Pisces here, shaking things up in your communications, perhaps to do with study or your local area, or perhaps even your gadding about town, getting organised with your domestic tasks and that sort of thing, or even to do with your distant family members. At some point, the moon will cross across Saturn because the moon travels very fast, so it's only in this house here for 2.5 to 3.5 days. So probably on the first day, because this is at 5 degrees, so it will be on the first day, it will race across Saturn, and this will bring some sort of restriction or limitation to a situation regarding communications or even marketing or promotion. Probably not the best time on the 1st of August to do those things, but Saturn is your ruler, so it's very important to note that, because if you were to start a marketing campaign on the 1st of the month, you might find it gets knocked back by a social media platform, or there's some sort of restriction put on it. So just take note of that if you're in business. The next thing to note is there's a new moon in Leo on the 16th of the month, okay, opposite here bringing a brand new start to your shared resources. It's also, even though this is in Leo, it's also often to do, this 8th house is associated with Scorpio, and it's often to do with secrets or something that's hidden away, very deep, compelling sorts of feelings. And this brings a new start. So you could see some sort of insight or some sort of awareness into something that you didn't know before. And it's going to put you in a more powerful position because it's in Leo. It's like the boss of the wash, the king of the jungle. You may see things and it gives you more power in some way. The sun enters Virgo on the 23rd up here in your 9th house of the higher mind. This is also going to give you insight and knowledge about something. This house of the higher mind is associated with study and a more formalized sort of study. Maybe you're thinking about retraining or something like that. It's also associated with travel, broadening your horizons, spirituality, philosophy, that sort of thing. So the sun there brings all of this insight and some degree of happiness or contentment as well. Perhaps you are thinking about going on a vacation. That would bring happiness, one would think. We have also on the 23rd, Mercury going retrograde here in the same house. So if you are travelling, try to travel well before the 23rd. What happens is the week before that, so from the 16th to the 23rd, there's a thing called a shadow period where the energy is slowing down before it actually changes direction. It's an optical illusion in reality, but it still has the effect on our psyche. And it's not the best time from the 16th to the 23rd to travel either. It's better than after the 23rd, that's for sure. It's not the best time to sign a contract because you may have to go back and revisit that contract and something's changed. It is a great time to complete anything that you started before the 16th. And Mercury retrograde in Virgo lasts up until September 14th. And then you have that week where the shadow period comes on and it's gradually speeding up the energy. It's coming out of its retrograde phase. It's turned direct on the 14th and moving away. And so any time after, say, the 21st, and you're home and hosed. The 27th of August, Mars enters Libra up here into your career zone, or perhaps your reputation, status, and any dealings with authority figures such as parent, particularly your mother. You may find that you're full of energy, so there can be vigorous debates, but most often it's to do with your career or your life direction. And Mars will come along here and at some time will pass over your MC, and that could give a very big change in your life direction when that happens. So it'll be in the second half of the month. Mars will be in there from 4 to 6 weeks in the 10th house, and it's also your public life and your status, your reputation, especially online. You could be feeling more ambitious, have a lot of energy to improve your social reputation in some way. We have on the 28th, Uranus retrograde in Taurus again. Because it's retrograde, it's more likely that you internalize the energy. So it doesn't mean that anything physically is going to happen, especially with Uranus. It can be unpredictable, can be volatile and rebellious. It's in your 5th house of creativity and romance, also the world of the child. But you may do something radical in these areas, and it could be quite surprising. And that's unusual for you because you don't normally do radical things. Perhaps as a Capricorn, a typical Capricorn would not be doing anything volatile if they could help it. Alrighty, so that's it, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to check out your rising and your moon sign as well. Have a fabulous month, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome, awesome Aquarius. Well, I've got your horoscope here. There's a bit happening this month, which is rather interesting. Firstly, let's do the cards. I'll draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. Okay, so there's your horoscope But firstly, the cards. So first half of the month, closing my eyes, what do I see for you? Okay, the door, there's something you wanted to do for a while. The door is closed, but there's a crack of light here in front of me, and it's about to open up. So something that seemed a bit restricted or closed, an opportunity that was closed to you previously, could open up, maybe even unexpectedly. We do have your ruler here, Uranus retrograde. I'll talk more about that later on, but your ruler in your fourth house. So let's just see what pans out, but it could be to do with home and family, that there's an opportunity. All right, the first card that comes up, yeah, I'm getting the sense of lightning, like a lightning bolt out of the blue, something so very unexpectedly happens. The sun, this is beautiful, brings a lot of insight and knowledge, awareness, a sense of comfort and safety, warmth. It is the source of all life, the sun, and it's like you've seen something with new eyes. The veils are lifted from your eyes and you understand a situation, but it's very positive and it's very optimistic, and it's a major arcana card, so it's potentially life-changing for the better. The second half of the month, just a sec, I can't move on because they're talking to me. So it's like I see all these gears going around like in an engine, and it takes a bit of a jump, like the gears turning, and then it jumps and it skips a cog, and then it goes on and it's on a new cycle. So something happens, you adapt to really quickly, and then you go again on a new cycle. Okay, I think I've got that right. Number 2, the second half of the month, that's what I was trying to focus on. Okay, there's an aircraft here. Maybe you're thinking of travelling, that's possible, but it's not about that. You do have Mars going into your international travel house. I'll talk about that in a moment, but this is like a 747 or 787, whatever they're up to now. I lose track of, all the aircraft models. I think it's 787, a Dreamliner, and it's landing. So you may have had a dream and it's come down to earth. Maybe there were some changes, but this aircraft is landing. That means you're making it physical, you're making it real, grounded in practical and concrete reality. Okay, the card that comes up, yes, well, it is hopes and dreams. That's what this card means. It's all about you send your hopes and dreams out into the universe, and the universe does what it needs to bring those things to reality. So if you have anything that is really playing on your heart that you want to put into physical reality, this month, August, would be a great time to do that. You'll notice that she's on the shoreline here, so she's practical and down to earth, but there's the ocean, the feelings, the emotions, the subconscious. Here's a genie. She sends out her hopes and wishes to the universe, okay? And here are all the different cups of life, okay? And cups are all about your emotions. So you may be pleasantly supplied. You may be pleasantly supplied. I was trying to say you may be presently surprised this month when your supplies come in. Okay, so take note of those. I'll make this a bit bigger now, like that. Okay, so that you can see what's going on. Maybe just move that down a tad. Okay, so take note of these cards. So the first thing to note that's different about this month is there's 2 supermoons, and the first one is on the 1st of August, and it's in Aquarius, your sign here, okay? So I've just put that in extra. It's actually the one super moon in Aquarius, but I've written it in bigger because to let you know that it is a full moon and it is a super full moon. That means the moon's closer to the earth, and so you could be more affected, and particularly as it's in your first house, about how you approach the world, your identity, your appearance, who you are, and letting the world see who you are. So fairly important. They may see you as being quite clever. They may see you as being a little bit eccentric, perhaps you're unusual in some way, which is always a good thing. My husband's an Aquarian and he's very eccentric. I like eccentric people, and we don't want to all be the same, do we? That would be pretty boring. The second full moon is a blue supermoon in Pisces. It's called blue because it happens in the same month. When you have two full moons in the same month, it's called a blue moon, the second one. So this is a full blue supermoon in Pisces in your money house. So something unusual could happen to do with your personal finances. There could be some kind of turbulence or a bit of a shake-up, saying, have a look at this. Now, added to that, you'll see this pretty excellently drawn, I think it's an isosceles triangle, if I think back to school days, where we have a sextile between transformative Pluto here in your subconscious and Neptune here in your house of money. And it's an easy flowing energy between the two, and they direct their focus here to Venus in the 7th house of partnerships. So important partners such as husbands and wives, maybe even business partners, those people that are very important to you and that you have committed relationships with Venus there, even though it's retrograde, which means the energy is internalized, but you might find that there's some sort of transformation that goes on for the better to do with one of these significant committed relationships, okay? And with Venus there, it's likely to be quite smooth. It's likely to maybe even renew or rejuvenate your relationship in some way. You do have Lilith there who's been causing trouble for a while. Black Moon Lilith, she can really put the cat amongst the pigeons in your house of relationships, but you also have the sun, so there's a lot of insight and awareness that comes, but the sun will move, and I'll talk about that in a moment. The next thing to note is that on the 16th, the new moon in Leo, which is up here, there in your partnership area, brings a new beginning or a new start to a relationship. So even if you're in an existing relationship, that's where the rejuvenation of the relationship may take place. I'm seeing a lot of flowers while I'm talking. There's a lot of happiness with this. Maybe you and your partner, if you have one, decide that you may go on a break together. And even if it's only a weekend away, it would be really lovely. I can see all these wildflowers blowing in the breeze, and it's just a lovely vibe, very natural, feeling just at home with each other, very comfortable, but very kind and considerate and affectionate as well. So that's beautiful. So a new start. If you don't have a partner, this house can also indicate legalities are likely to go, and especially in this configuration, they're likely to go more positively. They're likely to sort of move forward because of all of this activity. And it could be even open enemies, someone that you didn't get on with. With Venus there could be a softening, or somebody offers an olive branch or something like that as well. Okay, so the 23rd sees the sun entering Virgo up here into your house of shared resources, bringing insight and awareness around the energies that you share with significant people. So sometimes it can be companies or government agencies such as tax. Something might come up about your tax, but it's probably positive. So you might get a refund, for example. Sometimes it's to do with intimacy, and there could be an improvement in intimacy with another person where you're both more honest with each other about what you want in the relationship. We have at the same time on the 23rd Mercury Retrograde, and excuse me, that's in Virgo. And with Mercury Retrograde, just be careful of miscommunications, especially anything important. It's good to put it in writing, and especially to do with loans, inheritances, or any sort of legal matters. That would be advised. Things can be delayed under Mercury Retrograde, especially travel. and you will have Mars entering Libra up here in your international travel zone that I mentioned before on the 27th. So pay extra special attention if you're traveling. I probably wouldn't want to travel at that time, but that's me. It doesn't say you can't do it. It's just saying be extra careful and make sure that you allow extra time between legs of your travel journey. With Mars there, you may be filled with a lot of ambition, a lot of drive to move ahead with plans to expand your life in some way. Sometimes that's spiritually speaking. You want to find out all about, the spiritual aspects of life. It could be studying as well. It could be thinking more philosophically. Perhaps, you're looking at big picture things and looking at concepts of life rather than just your individual life. In Libra, it's likely to have a beautiful, peaceful sort of flavour, if you like, or a peaceful, harmonious slant to it, if that makes sense. All right, dear Aquarius. One more point. The 28th sees Uranus retrograde in Taurus, as I mentioned before, bringing surprising revelations around the home and family, but probably internalized. So you're probably getting flashes of insight about family members and what goes on at home, okay? Be careful with lightning. I keep seeing lightning bolts while I'm, reading all of this. And so just be careful with lightning, and sparks from electrical equipment too is a possibility. So just if you've got anything electrical that's playing up, maybe have it checked. That's all I would say. With Mercury retrograde, it will be retro until the 14th of September, by the way. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching, Awesome Aquarius. I hope you've enjoyed this and found it a bit useful. Don't forget, check out your moon sign and your rising sign as well. And most importantly, have a fabulous month. I'll see you again soon. Thanks and bye for now. Hello and welcome, passionate Pisces. I've got your horoscope, but first we're going to pick 2 cards as theme cards for the month for you. Let's go to the board now. Okay, there's your horoscope, but we'll do these cards first. Okay, so the first half of the month, what do I see? Okay, it's like an artist painting a picture. That's you with your life. And the broad brush strokes might already be in the picture. When we incarnate, we decide a lot of things before we actually get here. However, it is up to you to fill in the missing gaps and to paint as you will. And if you want to, you can even paint outside the lines. So you might have put some broad brush strokes down before you got here, and then you finesse it and tweak it until you get the painting the way you want. That is your life. Okay, let's see what card comes out. The Fool card. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and to take a bit of a risk with your life this month. An educated risk, okay? Not going crazy or anything like that, but you can research and have a look at different ways of doing things. See, she's got red pants on here. That means take action. There's green for growth. And she's on a promontory here and she's about to step off. Will she sprout wings and fly, or will she end up in the water down here? And even if she does, there could be some sunken treasure there that she can find. And she never would have found it or known for sure if she didn't take that step. So even if you feel anxious, and I can feel something happening in my chest while I'm saying that, even if you feel anxious, if you think about something and you research it and plan it, and ask around, what do your friends and family think, they'll tell you. But you can be aware, because you can see here there's this little dog that's trying to hold her back. So some of your friends and family are only thinking about themselves, I'm sorry to say. They're not thinking about what is right for you. And they might want to try and hold you back in the past. But it's very clear here that you are moving forward into the future, okay? It's a major arcana card, so it's pretty important. That's the first half of the month. Let's have a look at the second half of the month now. and we'll see what comes up. What do I see for passionate Pisces? Okay, I don't know what these, I think they used to be called whirligigs, and you'd hold them up and the little thing would fly around and around in circles in the air, and there's a very stiff breeze. I can see it flying around. The focus seems to be on the wind, and this is the winds of change. So you may be changing your mind about something. It's probably a month to practice being flexible and not to get too tied into situations that you can't get out of later if you change your mind. The card that comes up is the Seven of Swords. This used to be called the Thief in the Night card in the old days, but that's a bit of a negative connotation, and because of these bright yellow legs, I see it a bit more positively than that. Some people would say that, means that you're going to have something stolen, like your money or your possessions, but that's at a really basic level. More than that, having things stolen can relate to your self-esteem, having your self-respect stolen, having your time and energy stolen. This says to me that somebody is moving away from a situation. You're moving away from a situation in the past where there was somebody taking your energy or taking your time. But these bright yellow legs are carrying her forward. See, we've got bright red legs here in the Fool, and we've got bright yellow legs here in the Seven of Swords. So you're definitely moving forward. This is moving away from a difficult situation and planting some new ideas into the ground and making them real. The tense, it can mean travel, but not specifically. Often these tense in this card really relate to the chakras in your own body, and those chakras opening up and having more energy, having the energy to move away from a difficult situation. Okay, so that's the Seven of Swords. There's some sort of partial success here. You're on your journey. You've still got a bit of a way to go, but it's more positive now, and you can see that there's some sort of success is likely to come to you. Okay, so bear those two cards in mind. As I said, the Fool is a major arcana, so that one's pretty important. And I'll just make this a bit bigger and move all of this to the side a little bit. Okay, so first thing to note, these pretty pictures here, expertly drawn by moi. We have a T-square. It's only active for literally one day, the first day of the month, okay, because we've got the moon. The moon will only be in your 12th house for 2.5 to 3.5 days, so this is hours to a day at the most, okay? And this is like a challenge that occurs on the first of the month between the energies of your subconscious getting a bit of a shake up with the supermoon there, and Uranus here in Jupiter, Jupiter here in Taurus, I'll get it right. And so this is about wanting to expand your communications or perhaps study, and maybe expand your profile in the local area, in your, wherever you live, your local environment. It's about socializing with locals also. Sometimes if you have a business, it's about marketing or promotion. Okay, and the subconscious energies are squaring that, making a hard aspect, so not necessarily easy to do those things. And Jupiter is then squaring the Sun here, and the Sun travels really fast too. So after the 1st of August, this red triangle will dissolve. It'll be gone because the Moon and the Sun would have moved on. Okay, more important than that though is we have this finger of God here between Pluto right in the last throes of Capricorn in your house of friends, groups and associates. There's some sort of transformation that's been going on there for a long time. It's almost ready to change house, maybe another year or so. But some sort of transformation there. Neptune in your sign, affecting your spirituality and the spiritual way that you approach the world. And both of these planets, Pluto and Neptune, are focusing their energy towards Venus here in your 6th house of your everyday life. Or perhaps it's your health or your work. So It could be, with all that energy going there, we also have the sun and the new moon and Lilith there, something transforming in your everyday life. And Venus is retrograde, so that could mean that it's internalized and you're thinking more about these things. There may not be a physical correspondence to that straight away until Venus turns direct, but things are happening there in your routine, where you work on a daily basis. If you're not getting paid work, then it's just what you do as a matter of routine in the daytime. There's a supermoon on the 1st of August as well, and that's in Aquarius here in your 12th house, giving you probably quite vivid dreams and excellent for meditation. Sorry, I've been talking all day. And then on the 30th, there's a blue supermoon here in Pisces in your sign, shaking things up around your identity and your approach to the world, and maybe even your appearance. Maybe you want to change your appearance as well. The new moon is in Leo on the 16th of the month here. Again, I mentioned about what's going on in your everyday life, so that brings even more energy, but that's a new start to your habits, your work, your well-being, or your health. The sun is entering Virgo on the 23rd here, gracing your house of partnerships. It's a happy time with significant others. It could bring some insight, awareness, a feeling of comfort and stability around your important relationships. On the 23rd, Mercury is going retrograde until the 14th of September, also in Virgo here. Just be a little bit cautious, because sometimes it can indicate miscommunications when it's retrograde, especially with significant other people. Okay, so significant partners, business partners, or maybe personal partners such as husbands or wives. It's not good for travel. It can delay things. It can delay mail if you're expecting mail from a significant partner. It can also be a trickster. So if you're in a sort of casual relationship, or you're looking for something casual to go deeper during Mercury retrograde, you have to be extra careful, because there is a bit of a trickster energy there and the ability for misunderstandings. So just watch that. There's also a shadow period from the 16th to the 23rd, and then from the 14th of September until the 21st, when the energy is coming on or going off. On the 27th of August, we have Mars entering Libra. This is fantastic for sex lives, for good sex lives. It makes them even better. If you're having issues in the intimacy department, Mars can sometimes cause arguments, but it does bring a lot more energy. How that energy manifests, it depends on the circumstances. So sometimes it can be arguments and then sex improves after that, but it's also about sharing with others. That can be sharing resources, money, buying an investment property, for example, loans, inheritances, and superannuation or 401k. Sometimes it's indicative of a letter from the ATO, or to do with your tax, for example. You may get a refund, or it may be lacking, and then you get on the phone and have an argument on the phone with the ATO, which is always fun. Not. So, yeah, a few things happening this month. Lastly, we have Uranus retrograde in Taurus, because it's retrograde, it could be internalized, a lot of the energy, but it could bring up some surprising communications, and especially with Mercury retrograde at the same time. Also, because this is in the 3rd house, it could be to do with your local area, distant cousins, or perhaps a sibling that you haven't heard from for a long time. But this indicates some restlessness, the need for independence. There's a sort of sense of freedom and rebellion. You might rebel against something. Perhaps you're feeling it, but you're not doing anything about it when it's retrograde. Alrighty, so that's it Passionate Pisces, I hope this is useful for you. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to check out your moon and your rising sign as well. Have a great month, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks and bye for now.